in our upbringing, the social norm was that the man is outside and the woman is inside. So therefore, the man is the hero in the world. The man is the participant. The man is the leader, and a woman should not be in such a leading position. You really need to understand that many people are still in this evolutionary stage, and for these people, it's unthinkable, or really strange at least, and discomforting, to the idea of a female president. Trump is in this first evolutionary stage, the person himself. I call this the Titan. It's a Titan type of personality. Trump is not a very well developed personality, but very strong at that, a very successful Titan. So, and that's why he's resonating with tens of millions of people, of American people, of his voters, who are also not very well developed. And Kamala Harris is in the second phase. She's, like it or not, she's an empowered woman. I tend to call these empowered women Amazons or queens of their lives. For the Harris voter, Trump is pulling them back. Trump is like a bad parent, and they broke free of their own parent and they made an independent life, and they don't want to have this despicable, arrogant, aggressive uncle. That's the way they perceive Trump. But that's why there are strong emotions, because for one side, it really is impossible for the Trump voter to accept a female president, and on the other side, for the Harris voter, it really is impossible to accept such an ego-man, narcissistic person that Trump is. People, we differ in our personal development stage, and that's what you see. That's why you have these enormous. That's why it looks like a war. That's why there is no civility anymore. That's why there is no middle ground. It's like the end of the world if the other side wins. This is the simple reason why. Hi there. A controversial topic, a very, very, very controversial topic, is the female president. And I have this personal development model, and based on this personal development model, a female president is really not a good idea, except when it is the perfect and only viable idea. And let me expand on this. You really have to understand that Trump and Harris, Kamala Harris or Kamala, no, Kamala probably the right pronunciation. Trump and Harris, I view everything through this map of life structure or approach. It's a map of personal development, of the evolution of our identity. Really, that's what it is. So I watch everything through this, and I can evaluate people through this, and this is based on 10 years of experience, over 1,000 stories that people have shared with me. And based on this, what I see is that there are 6 developmental stages of our identity, really. And there's nothing new to this. If you go deep into the Odysseus as well as Dante or the journey of Abraham or Moses from the Bible, whatever, it's the same journey. Also the journey of the Matrix, Neo in the Matrix, or the Jedi, it's always the same story. It's an evolution. It's a hero's journey eventually. But what I'm talking about is not really a hero's journey. It's more like a prodigal son's journey. That's my approach. It's the prodigal son's journey. And you have to understand that people differ there are 6 stages, but the 6th one can simplify to 3 big epochs. And if you want a detailed explanation of the map itself, I will soon post a longer form video to do that. So do subscribe if you're interested. I will be explaining this map. Now I'm just starting these videos. This is like my first real video in English, probably in the last year at least. So what you have to see is in the first epoch, it's a life based on patterns. You can say it's a life according to social norms. And in our upbringing, the social norm was that the man is outside and the woman is inside. So therefore the man is the hero in the world, the man is the participant, the man is the leader, and a woman should not be in such a leading position. And you really need to understand that many people are still in this evolutionary stage, and for these people it's unthinkable, or really strange at least, and discomforting to the idea of a female president, because in their life and in their sociological environment, it's not something that happens, because in the traditional stories and in their upbringing in the 60s, 70s, 80s, that's just not the pattern that they've seen. It's not the model. And what is happening now is that Trump is in this first evolutionary stage, the person himself. And that's why, and you can say he's a con man, you can say he's a whatever, an actor, you can say he's a showman. It doesn't really matter. The point really is that he's a titan. I call this the titan. It's a titan type of personality, who is and this is the point, he is blind to himself. That's the hallmark of a titan. It's the undeveloped personality who is blind to himself, and also craves success and obviously attention above all else. And that's what Trump is doing. So, and that's why he's resonating with tens of millions of people, of American people, of his voters, who are also not very well developed, or maybe one can even say lagging a bit in this development of the personality that I call the prodigal son's journey. Doesn't matter how we call it. The point is that he is in this first phase, and Kamala Harris is in the second phase. She is, like it or not, she's more, one can say she's woken up. One can say she refused to live by her patterns or the social norms that she was brought up in. One can also say that she is the ruler of her own world. One can say that she's an empowered woman. I tend to call these empowered women Amazons or queens of their lives. So anyway, she's the point really is that while Trump is not a very well developed personality, but very strong at that, a very successful titan, and it is difficult for the rich and successful to advance further. That's what Jesus was saying. It's easier for a camel to cross a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. That's what it is about. If your ego is successful in whatever you do, then A, there is no need for you to evolve, to develop. B, you don't want to. You want to keep repeating your success, and this titan is obviously a very narcissist. The successful titan is obviously a very narcissistic personality state. It's not that he or she is narcissistic for all his life. It's a personality state in my observation. So narcissism is a hallmark of a not very well developed personality, and that's what Trump is. So for Trump voters, for the not very well developed, or in a sense Hillary Clinton was right, for these left behind people who the more advanced people, what we can call the more advanced people, the Obama tribe, these are deplorables in a sense, really. Hillary Clinton uttered these words even. It was not very smart of her and not very political, but that's the truth. They are not very well developed, they are left behind, and they don't really get help. It's just a pressure from the mainstream of the society, including the political elites and also the media elites, for you to be more inclusive, for you to be more egalitarian, for you to let go of any convictions you may have regarding the differentiation of men and women, including roles in society, male and female roles. That's who they are. That's where they are. So for a Trump voter, it's unthinkable to have a female president, while opposing this, and this is why we have this strong anonymity, this anonymity. I don't know the word. I should look it up. But that's why there are strong emotions, because for one side, it really is impossible for the Trump voter to accept a female president, and on the other side, for the Harris voter, it really is impossible to accept such an egoman, narcissistic person that Trump is. And it's nobody's fault. That really is the point. That it's nobody's fault. It's just a fact of life that we differ in our personal development stage, and that's what you see. That's why you have these enormous. That's why it looks like a war. That's why there is no civility anymore. That's why there is no middle ground. That's why there is no consensus and no way forward, in a sense, because previously it didn't have these big differences, because previously most of the people were less developed, and previously there were theories for these less developed people. We didn't have this much this many conscious people, or we can call them woke, or we can call them individualistic people. We did not have that before. And now, before we had a mainstream who were living in the matrix, so to say, and now it's a clash of the people living in a matrix and the people who live in the real world. And the people who live in the real world, their God really is individuality and the person and personhood. That's their highest value. But if you look at the map that I'm using, these are just the first two stages. So most of society, most of humanity, in fact, but most of the U.S. society also, is in these two stages still, and it's like a thesis and an antithesis or antithesis. Again, I need to look up the pronunciation. Thesis, antithesis situation, and there will be a synthesis in my language, synthesis of these two, which is the third stage, and eventually that will bring a solution, and that will again calm down the moods, and that will bring back cooperation and bring back um, being civil with each other, and all that what we're lacking right now. So that's still to come, as you can see on the map. But this is a short explanation of why for both sides it's like you need to kill the others. Of course, for the Trump voter, it's just so disturbing to have a female president for whom everybody is equal, and we need to compensate, and DEI, and all these topics for people. Most people don't dare to confess how opposed they are to these ideas, but in the voting booth they will mark they really need to vote to Trump because of themselves, the stage of their identity, the evolutionary stage of their ego. While and for the Harris voter, Trump is pulling them back. Trump is like a bad parent, and they broke free of their own parent, and they made an independent life, and they don't want to have this despicable, arrogant, aggressive uncle. That's the way they perceive Trump, because Trump is backward, and he really is backward compared to them. But for the Trump voter, Harris is not understandable, too much, too different from them, and that's why everybody is it's like the end of the world if the other side wins. This is the simple reason why. So I hope I get more eloquent. Thanks for sitting this through, if you survived. Comments and questions are highly appreciated, and also a detailed explanation of the map via comments eventually once I get around to it. Just felt it was for me important to start speaking English, and I always knew the first video was really rubbish. So that's what you've been watching. Thanks, do subscribe, quality will improve, and also I hope this map is of interest or looks interesting. I really do promise that you can get great value out of this if you keep watching these contents and develop a deeper understanding of this personal development approach. Keep up the good fight. Thanks for watching me today.